Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. So I kind of gave up weekly reading vlogs last year, but I am in the reading vlog mood and I don't have anything planned for the week, so let's just do a weekly reading vlog. First, I want to talk about the things that I read last week because I haven't talked about them anywhere else and I'm not doing monthly wrap-ups. So the first thing that I read this month was Seventh Circle. This is the first book in the Hades series by Kate James. This is like a companion series to the Madison Kate series, and this follows Hades, who runs mafia group, I guess. We saw a little bit of her in the last Madison Kate book, but she actually took over the family from her family after she slaughtered them. And we get a little bit of backstory here, but it is mostly someone from her past showing back up, and she has 3 guys. There isn't any hookups in this book at all. There's like, well, that's a lie. There's hookups with 1 guy, but like they're not super memorable, or like I don't really like that hero all that much. And then there's 2 other guys that she like doesn't. She has like kisses with one of them and then no sexual interactions with the other one. I gave this 3 stars. I think it lost a little bit of the like spark that the Madison Kate series had. For me, this one was a little bit more serious, and that's just kind of not what I'm going for with these books, but I might continue the series eventually. I then read The Windigo. So Tamika from Library of Tomes and I are buddy reading a short horror, and this was one of our buddy reads, and I ended up giving this 1 star. So this was written in like 1910. I didn't know this before going in. It's really, really, really bad. The writing is overly flowery, and there is a lot of like racist language used in this. So it just was not a good time. It wasn't fun. It wasn't interesting. The like actual Windigo part was boring. So no.
You see a light at the end of this ugly ass tunnel. I don't.
So then I read The Duchess Hunt. This is the second book in this series by Lorraine Heath, and this follows the hero who was set to marry the heroine from the first one and his secretary. And in the beginning of the book, he puts an advert out in the mail to find a duchess because he needs to get married, but of course, like every other duke, he has no intention of falling in love. So he kind of leaves it with his secretary to pick the appropriate wife. His secretary has been in love with him since she started working for him, and there is like an event that takes place that kind of like changes his view on her and all that, and so it's very angsty. I ended up giving it 4 stars. I really liked this a whole lot. Their chemistry was fantastic, and I loved the heroine. The whole time she's kind of battling with this secret in her past, and she knows that if it comes out that she will be ruined, and so she's kind of keeping it from the hero. I didn't really love the hero's reaction to finding out her secret, but I think that his groveling was fantastic, and I didn't find it as abhorrent as everybody else did. I liked this much better than the first one. I think that they made more sense as a couple. Their chemistry was a little bit more believable, and I loved the like forbidden aspect of her not knowing if each other was attracted to each other, and the hero the whole time was like, why am I feeling this way? Like, I've never felt this way before. So it was just great. So I actually forgot a book that I read. I read part of the horror buddy read. We read Nothing But Blackened Teeth, and I absolutely loved this. It is a very short audiobook, and it is about these 5 friends who go stay at a haunted mansion in Japan, and it is said to be haunted by a woman who, after she lost her husband, was buried alive underneath the floor of the house, and she claims the lives of 1 young person every year to like make her feel less lonely. And these friends decide to rent out this mansion as a place for a wedding for 2 of the friends, and it's fantastic. If you are familiar with the original Japanese Ring series, Ringu, it's feels very much like that. The writing is absolutely impeccable, and the image that the author paints with their incredible writing is just out of this world. I ended up giving it 5 stars, I think, either 4 or 5 stars, and it was just one of the best horror books or short horror books that I have ever read. And then the last thing that I finished last week was After the People Lights Have Gone Out. This is by Stephen Graham Jones. This is my 5th Stephen Graham Jones, and I gave this one 4 stars. This is a short story collection of just about every single kind of horror you could possibly imagine, and I loved it. I think he's a fantastic author. Stories that wouldn't usually be my thing, I could appreciate the writing and how eerie and creepy it is, even though I didn't necessarily find it creepy or it wasn't something that I would want to read. But I love Stephen Graham Jones. Like, he's a fantastic horror author, and especially his short horror, I love a whole lot. So if you are looking for a horror anthology, I would definitely say check this out, because this really has anything that you could possibly imagine in it. So fantastic. Currently, I am reading right now House of Earth and Blood. So I was planning on just going straight into Sky and Breath, but I realized that I don't remember a single thing about this. I read this over 2 years ago when it came out, I think, and I don't remember anything about this. And the first time that I read this, I gave it 3 stars. I didn't super love it. I thought that the characters were things that we've read before. The world was a lot of info dump. Twists were either something that you could never guess or really guessable, and just like some other issues that I have with Sarah J. Maas in general. But this go round, I'm actually enjoying this way more than I did the first time. I am currently 355 pages in, and everybody complains that this book is slow, and I don't really get that, and I didn't get that the first time. That wasn't a complaint that I had the first time. I just think that her writing is so consumable that it's a little, like, I personally don't notice the slowness or the lack of plot, because I'm more of a character-driven person anyways. I don't necessarily like Bryce or Hunt. Like, I like Hunt more than I like Bryce, but I don't really notice that the plot is, like, non-existent. Also, this is just kind of a fun murder mystery. So if you don't know, this is the story of a girl named Bryce whose best friend, something happens to her best friend, Danica, who is the leader of a pack, and Danica and the entire pack, something happens to them. And then 2 years later, I think it's 2 years, the same thing starts happening again, and so Bryce seemingly is, like, attached to both all the parties involved. So when it happened 2 years ago and now when it's happening now. So she is enlisted by Micah, who is the governor, I guess, of Crescent City, to find out what is going on, like who's doing the murdering and all that kind of stuff. Hunt is enslaved to Micah. Centuries ago or something like that, there was a rebellion led by an angel that Hunt was in love with, and so he was like her second, and as punishment he was enslaved to the angel's twin sister, and Micah bought his contract off of the twin sister and now has the contract with Hunt, and Hunt has to kill the same amount of people that were killed during that rebellion to be free. And so Micah tells him that if he finds out who was committing these crimes, he will lessen his sentence and the amount of people that he has to kill to be let go. And so Hunt and Bryce have to team up to figure out why this crime is happening. And there's also some, like, mystical items going on. It's just a very involved book. As I've said before, I think Sarah J. Maas kind of just recycles her characters, so that's how I feel about them. But overall, it's not a bad book. It's not, like, the best fantasy I've ever read, and I kind of just wish that Sarah J. Maas would, like, go into romance. Like, clearly that's her strong suit, but, you know. Also currently reading / listening to Dune. So this is a sci-fi series, and I'm reading the first one, and the audiobook is is probably the best audiobook I've ever heard in my entire life. It's full cast, it has sound effects, it has music, like it's well worth the money. I have an Audible subscription, so I used one of my credits. Very confusing. The writing is the opposite of Sarah J. Maas. It is not consumable at all. It takes very intense focus. I don't generally read the book along with the audiobook, but because of the way the writing is, I have the physical book that I follow along with. And this is basically about Paul, who is a young boy, and he is the son to a hierarchical leader. It seems like there are different families, and these families have rights to different lands based on what the government gives them. And he is the son to one of those leaders, and this, what I'm assuming is like a witch, and she birthed him, and he is supposed to like be this prophesied guy that is like going to change the world or something like that. And his father has been given the position to take over this place called Dune. And it's like this desert place that is inhabitable, and there's like these giant worm creatures, and they can't really have crops there, but it is very rich in minerals. There is this like metal type substance that can be mined and sold, and so his father thinks that this is a great opportunity to like build something on Dune. There is a warring family against them that is trying to overthrow them. We're getting the like machinations of that family, and also Paul's point of view and like several other points of view. And I'm not super far into it. I think the audiobook is like 28 hours long, and I'm maybe 6 hours in, and it's very interesting, but it's definitely one of those books that like exhausts you while you're reading it if you don't read a lot of intense sci-fi, which I do not. But it's absolutely fantastic, very beautiful. It's just going to be one of those audiobooks or books that I read slowly over time. But I have been talking for a very long time. I am going to get back to reading Crescent City or House of Earth and Blood, and we will talk a little bit later on when probably I have finished the book or whenever I have some updates for you. So
I think I've fallen for you, and I don't know why. I don't know why. You love that summer rain in mid-July, mid-July. My last name fits you better. When I'm with you, there's no pressure. I miss your worn-out sweaters. Weather couldn't compromise our love. I spent too much time on us, and I think you got me stuck on loving. You can't function. I gotta tell you all my secrets, and you know that just ain't easy for me. Oh, baby, won't you come to my town? Last time around, you ain't come to my house. Stay for a while, me, my mama, and my family. We'll see, let's see. I think I've fallen for you, and I don't know why. I don't know why.
good morning, friends. I woke up on the wrong side of the bed or something today because I am just in a terrible mood, and if I get into it, I'm just gonna go on a rant, and I don't feel like doing that. Let me just say that like the book community cares more about the product than the people, and that's all I will say, because yeah, 475 pages into House of Earth and Blood, and I'm not like as invested in their relationship as like I feel like I should be in a romance. I think they're kind of boring, and like there's the tension of them like not having hooked up yet. They just had like their first moment, and I liked the buildup, like not like each other, becoming friends, and now being interested in each other sexually. I liked that. I think it was good, but like the actual tension there is not there. Like I just don't really care about them together. I don't really feel any like chemistry. I think they're really good friends, but other than that, like I don't really care to see them get together or not. So if we're gonna follow the Sarah J. Maas pattern, I'm sure we're going to get another hero at some point. Let's hope there's a little more chemistry there. I couldn't sleep last night, so I started the ebook for The Lady Gets Lucky by Joanna Shupe. This is my first book by Joanna Shupe, and this is about a woman who enlists the help of the hero for a lesson in seduction. They're like at this house party together, and she goes to his room and basically says like, I need you to teach me how to like seduce a man or whatever, because I'm a wallflower, I'm shy, like, no man is ever going to be interested in me for me. They're just gonna want me for my dowry. Initially, the hero turns her down, but he's like attracted to her because she's like shy and reserved and all that kind of stuff. So I am enjoying that one. It was a quick read. I read it pretty fast, but other than that, the audiobook that I'm listening to, I'm still listening to Dune, but I'm also listening to a horror audiobook. This is a buddy read with Tamika. I think it's called The Fear or something. It's about two women who are married, but they live in like this Texas town, and like this pandemic sweeps through. I think it was written during COVID. This pandemic sweeps through, and so they're trapped in their apartment, and they're afraid what like this town is going to think about them being two women that are married. I guess they have their identities hidden, like they have their relationship hidden, and I think it like breeds a lot of paranoia and stuff, like all of that horror-y goodness. So I'm gonna start that probably today, and then we'll see how I'm liking this. I would like to finish this today. I don't think that's gonna be possible. I would have already liked to be in the second one by now, but like I said, I am enjoying this more than I did the first time. I'm just not loving their romance. Let me know if like you had similar experiences when you read this one, because I'm just not really like feeling the chemistry. So also, lots of people have been putting out spoilery vlogs for the second one that I want to watch, so I would like to get through it and not spoil myself because I haven't been spoiled yet. So that is that.
I know that we'll make it through. Telling you why. Yeah. Summer rain on your tattoo. I know that nobody has you. So is it me you're running back to? I'm not ashamed to say I'm attracted to you. Oh no, no, no. Remember those days when we sang those songs in your old Mustang that your parents bought, when they split ways and you felt alone? So you have a couple people trying to make up for your broke heart, looking for love, and I think that I'm a good start. I know that you've been through a whole lot, but I have too. So baby, when you're missing me and it feels right, and I'm in your dreams like every night, I don't know why you won't give me another chance. With all our years in an hourglass, yeah. I think I've fallen for you, and I don't know why. I don't know why. You love that summer rain and mid-July.
Good morning, friends. It is Thursday, and I realized yesterday that our Brianna Hill Live is this weekend, this Friday night, and I hadn't read any of the books, and I'm supposed to be reading 3 books for it. I started the Devrams Court. That's not what it's called. It's like Parval King, something like that. It's like this series. And I liked the first one okay. An age gap romance. The hero was the king's guard for the old king. He gets killed in a rebellion. All the king's guard get put in prison, so he's imprisoned. And then in the beginning of the book, the kingdom there's another rebellion, and the king and queen's bloodline is like put back in, the monarchy is like put back in power. He is released and he goes back home. He has a daughter who is like 25. They start going back out into society. I couldn't tell you what this world is. It's so fucking weird. It's like as if we were reading 1800s England, but they have like cell phones and shit, but like society is like 1800s England. They go to a ball, and his daughter meets the heroine, and the next day invites her over for tea, and the hero comes in to the heroine trying on one of his daughter's dresses, and he thinks that she's like stealing it. And it starts their relationship. It's very dominant and aggressive, daddy, little, and like it was cute, it was sexy. Brianna Hale is just like the queen of writing sex scenes, but the rest of the plot just was kind of boring and like didn't really make sense. It was just paced very weirdly. So I ended up giving it 3 stars. And then I absolutely detested the second one. This one is about the hero from the first book's daughter. She is 25 and she's like spoiled. That's like her whole personality. She's spoiled and she's a horse girl. That's it. She takes her horse to this like stable that the hero owns, and there's like nobody there, and he's gonna lose his stable, and they have like this hate to love relationship. It was just awful. I mean, like, this is the worst possible couple she could have picked, because I did not give a fuck. Like, I was like 2% in, and I texted Tamika like, is it bad that I just don't care about the couple? It's only like 160 pages or 200 pages, and I skim read that thing so hard. I've never skim read something so hard. Like, I did not care at all. Like, they were the worst couple. Their plot was the worst. Their relationship didn't make any sense. They literally went from hate to love from one sex scene to the next. Like, they are arguing and fighting that they don't like each other. They have sex, and then the hero is like, I'm so lucky. I'm the luckiest man in the world afterwards. It's so fucking weird, and I don't get it. Like, I don't like it. It's not good. I'm sorry, Brianna, but this is just not it. So now today I need to read the third one, and I'm like not looking forward to it. This is like very nitpicky, but like there's literally a family of people that I think the heroine of the third one is part of called Ballsack. Spelled like this, but how do you not want me to read it Ballsack? I don't know, but I think the heroine is part of the Ballsack family. So I will update you once I'm done with it, but it's not looking good. This is just really bad, and I'm like, yeah, I'm disappointed. I don't think I read any of House of Earth and Blood yesterday since I last updated you, and I read a little bit of The Lady Gets Lucky, and I am enjoying it. It's a cute story, but there's not really a but. Like, I'm just enjoying it. It's a good story. It'll probably be like a solid 4 stars. I don't know if it's one that I'm gonna have super in-depth thoughts and like lots to talk about. Cute. The hero is just completely gone for the heroine. He is obsessed with getting with her and like protecting her. There's a lot of scenes where her god-awful mother is destroying her self-esteem, and she like steps in and tells the mother to shut up. So like there's some great scenes, but it's not anything to like rave about. Like, it's not something that I can like talk to for 45 minutes about. I think those are all the book updates that I have for you. I'm gonna go to work and finish blackmailing the bride, or whatever the hell it's called, and I'll update you once it's done. It's not looking good. But yeah. Good morning, friends. Thankfully it is Friday, because the past 2 nights I have just been having nightmare after nightmare, and I have not been sleeping well. As you just heard, my cats, Bane is just being a total asshole, but he's a kitten, so assholiness is. I do have some reading updates, but first I have some book mail. This is from Hello Lovely Box. I am a rep for them, so I wanted to show off what I got. I got this tumbler that says Moody Readers Club, and the top just pops off, and it's like this size. It's pretty quality. It is 20 ounces. And then they have this thing where you can order surprise totes, and this is what I got. So this matches the shirt that I got from the surprise box, but it says grow through what you go through, and then there are books in this bag, which is good for library trips. So that is what I got. I also got a hoodie that I don't know if it'll come in this vlog. As far as book updates, I finished the buddy reads, or the book club reads, read along reads, golly, for the live show tonight at 7. And it's going to be an interesting discussion because I gave the first one 3 stars and I gave the last 2 stars, and they were truly a horrible reading experience. Like I had to seriously skim read to get through them. Like Alexa Read to me couldn't read fast enough. And then I also finished A Lady Gets Lucky. I gave this 4 stars, so I liked this. I think it was cute. It's a wallflower rake, and the woman is a chef, and I think I told you in a previous clip, it's like a lessons in seduction. Of course, the conflict is all about the rake doesn't want to get married and all that kind of stuff, but he's enamored with the heroine, and their relationship is super cute. So again, like I said in previous clip, this isn't like one of those that I have a lot to rave about, so I gave it 4 stars, and it's cute. And then I also started the audiobook for Tamika and I's buddy read, The Fear, and I'm not very far in. Right off the bat, very trigger warning heavy. It's set during a pandemic, and it's literally this one. So there's like quotes of Trump, things that Trump said about the pandemic when it first started, and there's like real life things happening in it. So it's a lot. Those are the updates. I am going to go to work. I will talk to you if I finish something. I'm a little bit further into House of Earth and Blood, but I'm hoping to finish today. We'll talk before my live show at 7. So wave to the vlog. Okay, so last night I finished House of Earth and Blood, and I am going to stick with my initial rating of 3 stars. The fact that this took me 10 days to read is a little ridiculous given how fast I usually read. All of my earlier complaints about this the first time I read it still stand. The characters are nothing new. The world building consists of a lot of info dump. Their relationship is pretty boring. That's not something I thought the first time, but now rereading it, their relationship is boring. Bryce is annoying. Overpowered characters without any training. The murder mystery was very left field. Either you could have guessed the clues, or they were like super obvious from page 1, or you couldn't have guessed them at all. Her twist endings are always very guessable to me. So like, I stand by my feelings. I do think that the amount of time and effort and thought that she put into her world is great. You can tell that a lot of energy has gone into building this world and conceptualizing this world. I just don't think the execution of getting the reader to understand was that great. I think that she put a lot of effort into her side characters, which is fantastic, and I like Hunt as a character. I just don't like their relationship. So I am settled at 3 stars, and that's kind of how I feel about it. I thought I might end up bumping it up, but the longer it took me, the less interest I had in picking it up, the more I knew that this was a 3 star. So I'm probably going to start the next one next week. So to kind of wrap up the reading vlog, I want to Eat Your Pancreas. This is the complete manga collection, and this is about a boy who finds a classmate's diary, and in the diary she says that she is dying of pancreatic disease, and he doesn't really want to be friends with her, but he feels drawn to her. He knows her secret, so they end up forming this friendship. And it says it is a heart-rending tale of friendship and mortality. So I think I'm gonna focus on reading this today, and then once I have finished, we will wrap up the vlog.
I got my head out the sunroof, I'm blasting our favorite tunes. I only got one thing on my mind. You got me stuck on the thought of you. You're making me feel brand new. You're more than a sunshine in my eyes. You got those pretty eyes in your head, you know it. You got me dancing in my bed, so let me show it. You are exactly what I want, kinda cool and kinda not. Wanna give myself to you. Yeah, we're driving down the freeway at night. I only got one thing in the back of my mind. I'm feeling like this might be my time. dream to shine with you, with you, with you. I got my head out the sunroof.
Okay friends, I have finished I Want to Eat Your Pancreas, and I ended up giving this 4 stars. So as I mentioned in my last clip, this is about a girl who is dying of pancreatic disease, and she befriends this guy who's the only one outside of her family that knows about the disease that she has, and she is insisting they become friends. She's constantly inviting him out to places. A good portion of this is just them like going places and like doing things that she wants to do, and there's a big emphasis on like just living a normal life, and that's what she kind of wants. She doesn't want like these big grandiose things to happen before she dies. She just wants to be a normal girl, and she is very focused on the male main character becoming friends with people and getting out of his shell and caring about other people and things like that. And like, it was sad, it was emotional, it was cute, it was inspirational, all of those things that like these stories kind of look to inspire. I just didn't really love the ending. I think with a story like this, the ending is sort of expected, and the ending is not really the point of the story, but the ending wasn't, like, I felt like it was supposed to be a twist, and it just felt kind of weird. So that is the last thing I'm going to end up reading in this vlog. Make sure you comment down below your thoughts on anything that I read. If you liked this vlog, I would love to hear it. Other than that, please consider subscribing if you haven't already. Thanks so much for watching, and I will catch you guys in my next one.
My last name fits you better. When I'm with you, there's no pressure. I miss your worn-out sweaters. Weather couldn't compromise our love. I spent too much time on us, and I think you